Hi everybody, it's Carl here from the Garden Route Food Pantry. Today's video, I just wanted to reflect a little bit on a couple of things I've been thinking a lot about recently, and I've actually posted once or twice on my Facebook page. Some of you might have seen that with regard to this. A difficult topic to talk about because one of the things I don't want to do is to come across negative. It's not a negativity that I want to spread. It's more a matter of just an awareness. So this message is about awareness. So at the moment, as you all know, we as the Garden Route Food Pantry are trying really hard to raise funds to cover our expenses for operating, but also because we've got costs related to food relief. Sometimes it's to transport goods, to fetch food from the farms, to fetch food from the manufacturers, and we've got a very wide region. And in order to get that transportation, the logistics does cost us, and that obviously has to come out of some sort of a budget. Also, sometimes it's food. You know, we might be making big pots of stew or big pots of soup, or as you all know, we have our biscuits that we bake as well. Very proud of our fortified biscuits. But there's costs associated to that. We have to put flour, we have to buy flour, we've got to buy the fortification agents as well, one of which we have to import from overseas. And it's all for the benefit of our kids that we're trying to help in the region. So money, unfortunately, is a necessity, and to try and source funding locally is really, really difficult. One of the issues that has gripped me, and one that I want to address in this video, is the unfortunate misunderstanding, if I can call it that, of where donated money actually goes to. You are perhaps aware of some of the chain stores, and I'm certainly not going to mention any by name because I don't want to make it a negative thing, but some of the chain stores do various financial collections on products. Restaurants, for example, where a certain portion of the money you donate goes to charity, goes to feeding people. You buy a meal and you add a couple of rand on, for example, and it goes towards feeding people. Great initiatives, one that I support wholeheartedly. At the end of the day, the more kids that are getting meals, the better. But the question that should be asked is, where are those meals being distributed? If you're making that donation here in your city, in town, in the Garden Route, and I'm going to use George as an example purely because I live here, but if you're making that 2 rand or 3 rand or 5 rand or 1 rand or 50-cent donation, whatever it might be, towards that product, are you aware that that money does not stay here? It goes to the major metropole, the cities mostly, and it gets distributed there. It does not stay here. We even had a particular chain, a restaurant chain, that was doing a collection of tinned foods for the poor. Fantastic, great. So you're donating your tin of food out of your cupboard at home to feed the kids in your area, but you're not feeding the kids in your area. All those tins were transported out of the Garden Route into a major city. This particular incident was Port Elizabeth and was distributed there. We have a hard enough time trying to get food into the Garden Route. The last thing we want to do is send food out of the Garden Route. So again, be aware of where you're making your donations. There are some really huge organizations, NGOs, that there's no ways we could even begin to compete with, that are getting funded millions upon millions of rands. Some of them are very well known, they're international. But again, the money that you're donating, if you're donating to those organizations, are they coming to the Garden Route? And in some cases, they are. In some cases, when we have, for example, a disaster, a major incident, a flood, whatever it might be, you will see those organizations in George and doing fantastic work giving back. But it's in between that. It's between the disasters, when our soup kitchens have run out of food, when our ECD centers can't give the kids their porridge in the morning. That's where we battle. And it's the organizations that are based here, such as the Garden Route Food Pantry, that then need your donations in order to keep people alive. So please be aware of that as well. Yesterday, and one of the purposes of this particular message was yesterday, and I'll mention KFM because a lot of you listen to KFM, did an amazing project on the air where they were raising what was supposed to be a target of 8 million rand to go towards an NGO for feeding. And they marketed this for the entire day fantastically well, high energy, and saying that the kids in the Western Cape are going to benefit from this. As it turns out, they exceeded their target and raised over 20 million rand. So congratulations to KFM, Lotto Star. You guys did an amazing job. My request is, in the future, perhaps include us, because what a lot of people don't know is that the funding went to an NGO that's based in the Cape Peninsula, and that's where it stays. So if you donated from here, sadly, yeah, is not going to receive any aid from that particular fund, despite them saying it was a Western Cape project. It was actually a more Cape Metropole project. So again, not putting them down, because I think it's amazing. If we're filling tummies, that's really what's important. But what's equally as important is to make sure that we're looking after our own area. It's hard getting donations in the garden route. We've approached all the major chain stores, the supermarkets. Sadly, there's not one of them, yes, not one of them, that is contributing anything towards the garden route food pantry, despite having um, operated for the last 18 months and given out nearly 6 million rands worth of food. We've done so without the chain stores. Our hope, our wish, our desire is that they will eventually come on board and see the benefit of donating towards a cause where their shops are actually located, as opposed to taking those stock items, damaged products, whatever it might be, sending it back to the main cities where the warehouses are and distributing them there. So ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken now for about 6.5 minutes. Again, my message to you is awareness. Please donate local. Find local charities. If it's us, that'll be great. We need it. But if it's not us, find one that is local and donate here. Be aware of where your funding is going. We are open and transparent. Anybody's welcome to come and see us and see what we do and see our list of beneficiaries. I talk not for the Garden Route Food Pantry. I talk for the nearly 200 beneficiary organizations on our books across the entire Garden Route, the Klein Karoo and the Central Karoo. I speak for them. I speak for the kids that sit under trees eating leaves all day long to fill their stomachs while their bodies are dying. I speak for the animals. Some of you are aware that we have an animal biscuit now as well, or a dog biscuit, should I say, that is also fortified with high nutrient and proteins, micronutrients as well. I speak for the dogs in the communities that are dying. I speak for the people with no voice, and I need you to help us fulfill the need that we have. So thank you for listening, and again, find us on Facebook and please share the message. Goodbye.